Now that the 2024 election is behind us, President elect Donald Trump has a lot of very good things to say about Project 2025. Wait a minute. You can recall during the 2024 presidential campaign, because it wasn't all that long ago, Trump had distanced himself from the 900-page initiative. In fact, he went so far as to call some parts, quote, ridiculous and abysmal. Oh. In fact, back in July, he wrote on Truth Social. Okay.
Truth Central.
I know nothing about Project 2025. I have no idea who is behind it. I disagree with some of the things they're saying, and some of the things they're saying are absolutely ridiculous and abysmal. And maybe it's because it polls really badly. The American people not in favor of Project 2025. However, on Thursday, in Time's Person of the Year interview, yes, Donald Trump is Time's Person of the Year. Okay. Hey, other notable figures were also Person of the Year. So, I mean, let's be fair about that. It doesn't mean that they're a good person, okay, to be Person of the Year. But hey, I mean, when you're looking from a historical perspective, having Donald Trump win in 2016 by nobody expected him to win in 2016. All right. They're like, okay, yeah, okay. So he won in 2016, had to have been a fluke. Crazy, right? Loses in 2020. All right. And then comes back and wins in 2024. Not so much of a fluke. Okay. Not so much of a fluke. So yeah, I mean, Time Person of the Year kind of deserved, honestly, because once again, it's not an endorsement of the person, but there's an interesting story here, and that story is about the failure of America. Okay, for electing this guy, and so it's a terrible story to tell, but there it is. That said, I know I got off on a little bit of a tangent here, but there it is. I mean, he also said in this Time interview, I don't disagree with everything in Project 2025, but I disagree with some things. Oh, okay. Which things? Which things? Oh, right. You can't really point that out. He then said, I specifically didn't want to read it because it wasn't under my auspices. Okay. And I wanted to be able to say that, the only way I can say I have nothing to do with it is if you don't read it. Oh, okay. It's a bit of a weird, logic that he's got going on here. If I don't read it, it doesn't exist. You see, you can't link it back to me if I just don't read it. Right. Okay. He said, I didn't want to read it. I read enough about it. Oh, okay. They have some things that are very conservative and very good. They have other things that I don't like. Can he give you an example of either of those things? What does he like about it? What does he not like about that? This is like asking him about the Bible. Okay, 2 Corinthians or something. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. No examples. In fact, he goes on saying, I won't go to individual items, but I had nothing to do with Project 2025. Well, we're not saying that you wrote it, dude. But the main question here is whether or not he agrees with some of the more disastrous parts about Project 2025. Like the increasing the power of the executive branch, that kind of stuff. Very, very concerning stuff in there. Okay. And he said, now, if we had a few people that were involved, they had hundreds of them. This is a big document, from what I understand. It's a big document, from what I understand.
Water, big water, ocean water.
It's a big document, giant document. Okay. Look, here's the thing, though. Donald Trump has nominated a lot of people who have contributed to Project 2025. and they're going to serve in some very powerful positions. Okay, Chief of Staff, Russell Vought. Okay, but that's okay though, because Trump doesn't have anything to do with Project 2025 because it's a big document. Right. No, here's the thing. So he gets into why the real reason that he didn't like Project 2025, because people don't like it. Quote, they complicated my election by doing it because people tried to tie me, and I didn't agree with everything in there. And some things I vehemently disagreed with. Again, no more examples, okay? No specifics. And I thought it was inappropriate that they would come out with a document like that prior to my election. I thought it was a very foolish thing for them to do. Ah, wow. Okay. Look, I do believe it when he says I didn't read it. Because you can't get this guy to sit and read anything. Okay, it's 900 pages. No, of course he's not going to. The man can barely sustain the attention to read anything longer than a tweet. All right. So, hey, and again, the logic here is if you don't know what's in it, how can you dislike it? Right? I mean, or how can I like it if I don't read it? Okay, then. Here's the thing, though. And it's bad news. Regardless of what Donald Trump says in this interview, right? We're getting Project 2025. It's not even up to him anymore. Okay, once Donald Trump's in power, he's going to hand over the government to basically the Heritage Foundation goons. Okay, and then he's going to go golfing. Okay, if it doesn't affect him, he doesn't care about it. That's one of the problems, all right? And look, NBC News reported that the Trump transition teams is using a LinkedIn-style database compiled by Project 2025 to identify staff for the incoming administration. So, no, what they're going to do, and I know Trump's like, no, I get a bunch of people who are loyal to me, so of course they're not going to do Project 2025 if I don't want them to. But a lot of the stuff that's in Project 2025, you have already pointed to as this is the policy I'm going to do. A lot of the immigration stuff, for example, okay? Getting rid of these federal agencies, reclassifying workers so that as political appointees, so you could fire them and appoint loyalists. That's all Project 2025. Making it easier to go after social media companies by making them liable for the content that's put on their platforms. I mean, like I'm sure there's a few things that you disagree with, like banning porn, okay? Even though that's mainly used as a way to try to go after trans people. So basically you put a picture of a trans person online or, whatever, and suddenly that's classified as pornography, even though it might not show anything. It's just regular trans person doing their thing, right? Just living their life. That's pornographic. Got to take it down. A way to try to destroy, transgender people to get them out of public life, right? And that's mainly what that policy is about. And then, of course, going after gay marriage, expanding that to, showing same-sex couples. And there's a lot of ways that they can use this so-called, pornography ban to go after members of the LGBTQ plus community. That's why it's a disaster. I don't think Donald Trump cares about that issue. I honestly do not think that Trump really cares about the LGBT community one way or the other, okay? I mean, Caitlyn Jenner, Trump's letting her use whatever bathroom she wants, right, at Mar-a-Lago, right? And so he does not care about that stuff. The stuff that Donald Trump cares about is stuff that directly affects him, okay? So, look, he wants to pay less in taxes. He doesn't want his businesses to be as regulated. That's the stuff that he's going to focus on. Anything else, he doesn't care. But what sucks there is that he doesn't care one way or the other. He's not going to be for it, or he's not really going to be against a lot of the stuff that Project 2025 wants to do. He'll be for it if it helps him. But again, he's not running for office, hopefully, okay, in the next election. So he doesn't care what Republicans do. Like, when it comes to these social issues, it doesn't matter to him. It's not going to affect him, so he doesn't care. Go ahead and do whatever you want to the transgender community. Go ahead and do whatever you want to the gay community. Go ahead and do whatever you want with abortion. Doesn't matter to Donald Trump. As long as he's got as long as he's able to pay less in taxes and have no regulation and be able to get away with robbing the American public. Because, again, that's the whole point of Donald Trump. His presidency is to rob the American public, rob the taxpayer, rob the government, and get away with it. It's the biggest robbery we'll ever see, okay? That's the whole point of Trump. But as far as that other stuff in Project 2025, a lot of that stuff is going to help him. It's going to empower him by crippling government agencies, oversight, consumer protection. So that only helps him. So he doesn't care about that. He's going to let that happen. And as far as the other stuff, he's not going to speak out against it. That's a sad fact. All right. And so, look, the agenda, Project 2025, makes a number of recommendations that Trump's already proposed. And so whether Trump knows it or not, doesn't matter. Get ready, because Project 2025, it's coming. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.